Hey guys, welcome to math class. As you can see, sorry I laid my keys down. As you can see, 10 is on my board because 10 is a very important number in math. And the number 10 is pretty much all we're going to be talking about today. And I know yesterday in your lesson you talked about making a 10 and how it can help us add. Well, this kind of has to do with that too, that making a 10. So that's why 10 is so important. Alright, so the first thing we're going to talk about is something called a number bond. And a number bond is kind of like an equation. For example, this is an equation, 7 plus 3, and it does equal our special number 10, since that's what we're working on today. That's called an equation. When you write a number sentence like this, that's an equation. This is a number bond. It's got some circles, it's got some lines. The answer or the sum goes in the top, and then the other two numbers go down in the other circles. And what this number bond is showing you is that if you have 7 and you put 3 with it, it's always going to make 10. That's all a number bond is. So it's a lot like this equation, because the equation is also saying if you have 7 and you add 3, it's always going to make 10. Well, that's what the number bond shows too. So it's just another way to show an equation. We're going to be looking at some number bonds today and using those to help us. So like I said at the beginning, 10 is a huge number in math, and it's something that's really important. One thing that you definitely need to know how to do in second grade is ways to make 10. All the different ways you can think of to make 10. Now, I'm going to leave that one up here. We just talked about how we can have 7 and add 3 and we can have 10. I know that you guys know this way too, because we talked about it the other day and we called it a double. Yeah, 5 plus 5 equals 10. What about anything else? Can you think of another way to make 10? Sure. Yeah, you could have 0 plus 10 and make 10. Oh, yeah. I know some of you were thinking of this way to make 10. Awesome, 9 plus 1. Any other ways? Oh, yeah. This way makes 10. If we have 6 and we get 4 more, it makes 10. And there's one more way I wanted to show you to make 10. It was this way. Did you guys figure it out? 2 plus 8 also is going to make 10. Very good. Now, there's something I want to show you, and I bet you figured this out on your lesson the other day. I can also, in this 7 plus 3, if I switch those around, it's going to be the same thing. It doesn't matter if you put the 3 second or the 3 first. It doesn't matter if the 7 is first or the 7 is last. It's always going to make 10. If you have 3 and you get 7, you will always have 10. And that was that number bond we drew to begin with. It doesn't matter which one's first. It's always going to make 10. Now, on this one, 5 plus 5, that phone always rings when I'm in the middle of a lesson. Hold on just a second, and maybe it won't take too long. This one, 5 plus 5, it won't, those are the same numbers, so even if I switch it, it's always going to say 5 plus 5. So here's the number bond for 5 plus 5. 10 always is what it's making, and 5 and a 5, and since they're the same, it won't matter if I switch it. Alright, I can do the same thing on 0 plus 10. If I switch it, it won't matter, because it does. If you have 0 and you put 10 with it, you're always going to have 10. It won't matter. The same thing on 1 plus 9. If I switch it, it's still going to make 10. It won't matter. Here's the number bond for that one. It won't matter, because even if they're switched, it's still going to make 10. Are you kind of getting that? I figured. So even if I switch these guys, it will not matter. They're always going to make 10. And here's the number bonds that match those two. We have 8 and 2. It won't matter which one's where. And we also can make a number bond with 6 and 4 to make 10. What we're trying to do in this lesson is for you to always, we want you to know that anytime you have 3 and 7, you put it together, it's 10. Anytime you have 5 and 5, you put it together, you're going to have 10. Anytime 10 and 0, you're going to have 10. 9 and 1, you're going to have 10. 2 and 8, you're going to have 10. And 6 and 4, you're going to have 10. It doesn't matter how you do it. That's one thing it's wanting you to learn and remember. That way you don't have to put that big number in your head and count up like we talked about the other day. If you can just know what makes 10, it's going to make the lesson a lot faster. So that's kind of why we're worrying about 10 today.